In our previous videos, we have learned about the difference between static and dynamic HTML, and based on the problems that we are facing while creating dynamic structure, we have come up with abstraction, and that abstraction for us is known as element function that can help us create HTML element based on some properties like type, attributes, and children. And when we started using it, our dynamic HTML code became a lot more readable and we can understand which one is the children of what. And this is a lot more easier to write. There is not a lot of boilerplate code here. And then what we did is we took this abstraction and tried to implement it in our GOT app, and it worked really well there. In this video, we are going to take a look at what React provides us. And for that, let's go on to the website reactjs.org. The first thing what we are going to do is to click on getting started. And here to start using React, the first thing we are going to do is to get the package React into our project. And the simplest way to do that is by using an external script like this. So when you are using React, you will need to include two packages. The first package is known as React and another one is known as ReactDOM. We'll understand the use case of both of it, but for now, let's just copy this and paste it in our HTML. We'll go into our HTML, we'll paste it right here on the bottom. So we have included both the script React and ReactDOM. So let's go ahead and look at what it gives us. Refresh this. Here we can see a special message that was not coming earlier regarding React Dev Tools. Don't worry about it, we'll get into that in a while, but we can see that our package is loaded here. So here we can see we have added two packages. One is React, another is ReactDOM. As soon as you add the packages into your HTML, you will have access to two special objects, React and ReactDOM. Can you see it here? Right now we will focus on React. So let's click on React. Inside React, there are a lot of functions. But is there anything here that you find familiar? Can you see a function createElement? So this function createElement works very similar to what we have created ELM here. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead, comment the abstraction that we have written and use React.createElement to create our element. Let's see that. And replace every ELM with React.createElement. So let's select all of it. All the ELM is selected. We'll replace it with React.createElement. So instead of using our own abstraction, now we are using a very similar abstraction given to us by React. Now I'm going to refresh the page. But don't worry, it is going to break the app. And the app, you can see it is not working properly because here it is saying object. It is not working properly. And the problem for that is when you're using React to create element, you will have to use ReactDOM to put those elements on the DOM. Don't worry, with time you'll understand that part. But here, what we are doing is we are saying UI root.append. We are appending this element li by ourselves. Because we are creating element using React, we will have to use ReactDOM to put that element on the DOM. And that is the use case of ReactDOM. So here I'm going to use ReactDOM. So we'll say ReactDOM. Let's look at what is ReactDOM so we can understand it properly. Inside ReactDOM, look at any methods that you can think of that can help us. So here there is a special method known as render. And render means taking this element from here, displaying it on the DOM. So ReactDOM has a special method called render. And now, if you look at append takes where you have to append and what you have to append. So ReactDOM.render works the same way. It will accept what you have to append. So I have to append li, but where? You have to append it in UL root. So I'll comment out this code, refresh it here. After refreshing, we can see that our app looks like it is working properly. Now let us try to add a new to-do. So here we'll say read book and press enter. What happened? So if you look at the error message, it says that it looks like React rendered content of this container was removed without using React. So let's just look at our code. Are we trying to remove something from UL that is not made using React? And here we can see that whenever you're clicking on enter, we are asking to remove inner HTML inside UL root. And that is the same thing it is complaining about. It is saying it looks like React rendered content of this container was removed without using React. So here we are using DOM to clean UL root. We should not be doing that. So let's just comment it out and see what changes. So refresh it and we can see, so out of 2 to do, we can just see 1 to do right here. Let's try to add another, play basketball, press enter, and here we can see it is only showing 1 to do at a time. If you refresh it, it will always show the last one. You try to add one more like learn DOM. Now only learn DOM will be visible because we are only showing the last one. Let us try to understand why it is happening. So here, so when you look at our main array that is all to-dos, let's see how many data is there. So we can see we have 5 to-do lists right here, but only one, that is the last one, that is visible from here. Why is that happening? So to understand that, we will have to understand create UI properly. So here in data, we are getting this array. So using for each, we are looping over array. And for each data, we are creating this UI. And at last, we are saying ReactDOM, go ahead and render this li that I have created inside UL. So if you try to understand what is happening, for the first time, one will be created, pushed into UL. Then again, the second will be created, pushed into UL. Third will be created, pushed into UL. Fourth will be created, pushed into UL. Fifth will be created and pushed into UL. At one time, we are creating one element and pushing it directly inside UL. So at last, only the last element is active there because the previous one, we have already cleaned it because we are saying ReactDOM, go ahead and render only this element inside UL. We are not saying like, okay, keep the previous one and keep adding on to it. So that is not what we are doing. So that is where we need to change our code. And how can we fix it? So one simple way of doing that is rather than creating element one after another, why not create all the elements UI at one time and using ReactDOM.render, push it at once inside UL. So that is what we are going to do. So rather than using for each, we will use map because map will return the same size of array and we'll call that to do UI. But to return from map, we will have to use the return keyword. We are not using it right now. So here after creating the li element, we just have to return the li element. And what we need to do is to move ReactDOM.render from data.map to outside of it. So let's move it here. And instead of saying ReactDOM.render, we will say ReactDOM.render all the UI that you have created for to do into the UL root. So we'll say UI, so we'll say to do UI and we'll push it into UL root. Let's refresh it and we can see that we have all our to do list right here. Let's just delete some because it's too many. So right now we have 2 to do lists left. What if I want to add a new to do? So we'll go ahead and add a new to do list with the name learn React. Press enter and we can see that to do got added here. We can mark it as complete, click on active, completed, clear the completed, and at last we can come back to all and we can see it is working properly. Similarly, you can delete it, you can mark something as complete. So all the features of to do is working properly now. So just to understand few things here. Earlier, the problem that we were facing is we were creating the UI for one to do and pushing it directly inside UL. So because of that reason, only the last to do was visible in the UI. But now doing it using map, we are creating the UI all at once and we are pushing it using ReactDOM.render in one go. So in this way, in this video, what we did, so we used React to create the UI, and using React DOM, we pushed the UI that we created into DOM by using the method ReactDOM.render.